Senior researcher Daeho couldn't contain his excitement as he stood before the massive viewing screen in the Galactic Council's main chamber. His antennae twitched rapidly, a clear sign of his heightened emotional state that made several council members shift uncomfortably in their seats. The holographic display showed a beautiful blue-green planet, the third one orbiting an unremarkable yellow star in the spiral arm of the galaxy. Esteemed council members, Daeho began, his voice steady despite his obvious excitement. After 5 years of careful observation, we have finally gathered enough data about this newly discovered world to make our report. He gestured to his assistant Yuna, who stood quietly at a control panel nearby. Yuna's fingers danced across the holographic controls, bringing up detailed scans of Earth's surface. The display showed sprawling cities, vast oceans, and green continents. More importantly, it showed the planet's dominant species going about their daily lives. The dominant species calls themselves humans. Daeho continued. They are bipedal omnivores who have achieved spaceflight, though they remain confined to their solar system. Their technology level is advancing rapidly, but still falls well within acceptable parameters for first contact. Head Counselor Jinwoo leaned forward in his chair, his crystalline body catching the light. Tell us about their physical capabilities. Researcher Daeho. Are they a threat? Daeho pulled up comparison charts showing humans next to other known spacefaring species. By galactic standards, they are quite unremarkable. They possess no natural weapons, no claws, no venom glands, no extraordinary strength. Their skin is soft and easily damaged. Their teeth, while omnivorous, are not particularly threatening. Their physical strength is minimal compared to most species we know. The council chamber filled with murmurs of relief. Many species remembered the disaster of first contact with the Thoraxians, whose natural acid sprays had caused numerous diplomatic incidents. Yuna stepped forward, adding to the presentation. Their society shows promising signs of peaceful development. They have multiple nations that maintain diplomatic relations, and while they still have conflicts, they show a strong desire for peaceful resolution. The images on the screen changed to show human cultural activities. People in parks, families at meals, workers in offices. Everything seemed perfectly normal and unthreatening. But Yuna had noticed something odd during their research. She glanced at a separate data stream that showed human hunting practices throughout history. Something about their persistence, their methods, made her uncomfortable. However, she kept these thoughts to herself, not wanting to contradict her superior's positive assessment. Jinwoo stood up, his crystalline form towering over the other council members. What about their response to other species on their world? How do they treat their planet's other life forms? Daeho brought up more images. They keep many species as pets and companions. They show great care for their animal partners. While they do consume other creatures for food, this is normal for omnivorous species. They have even established large preservation areas to protect their world's wildlife. What Daeho didn't mention was the efficiency with which humans had spread across their planet, adapting to every possible environment. He didn't bring up how they had outcompeted every other intelligent species that might have evolved alongside them. Based on all available data, Daeho concluded, I recommend we proceed with first contact. They appear to be exactly what we're looking for in new members of the galactic community: peaceful, adaptable, and eager to learn. Jinwoo looked around the chamber at his fellow council members. One by one, they indicated their agreement. Very well, he announced. We will prepare a diplomatic mission to Earth. Who would you recommend to lead this mission? Researcher Daeho. Ambassador Han has experience with similar species. Her calm demeanor and diplomatic skills would be perfect for this assignment. As the council meeting concluded and members filed out of the chamber, Yuna approached Daeho privately. Sir, there's something about the humans that bothers me. Their historical records show unusual hunting patterns. The way they tracked prey. Daeho waved off her concerns with a gentle motion of his antennae. Yuna, many species have hunting in their past. What matters is that they've moved beyond it. These humans clearly prefer peace and cooperation. Look how they care for their pets, how they work together in their cities. They're perfect candidates for the galactic community. Yuma nodded, but she couldn't shake her unease. She had seen something in those historical records, something about humans chasing prey until it collapsed from exhaustion, about their ability to cooperate in hunting groups, about their skill at reading and predicting prey behavior. But surely her superior was right. Surely these were just interesting historical footnotes about a species that had evolved beyond such things. As they left the council chamber, neither of them realized they had just set in motion events that would forever change the galaxy's understanding of what made a species truly dangerous. The humans they had observed were indeed peaceful, but they had missed the most important point. Humans hadn't abandoned their predatory nature. They had simply civilized it, refined it, and learned to hide it behind friendly smiles and diplomatic gestures. The first contact mission was already being planned, and the galaxy's most efficient predators were about to be invited to join the galactic community, and they would accept the invitation with those same friendly smiles, never revealing the predatory instincts that still lurked beneath their civilized exterior. Part 2. The Diplomatic Dance. The sleek diplomatic vessel descended through Earth's atmosphere, its silver hull gleaming in the morning sunlight. Ambassador Hayan stood at the viewport, her iridescent scales shifting colors with each subtle movement. After months of preparation, first contact with humanity was about to begin. The ship landed in a specially prepared area outside a major human city. Through the view screen, Hayan could see the welcoming committee, a group of humans in formal attire, standing beside a red carpet that had been rolled out for the occasion. Security forces stood at a respectful distance, their presence subtle but visible. Remember, Hayan addressed her diplomatic team, we represent the entire Galactic Council. Let's make this first meeting count. Her cultural expert, Ta-hyun, stood nearby, data pad in hand, ready to observe and record every detail of the interaction. As the ship's ramp extended, Hayan led her team out into Earth's sunlight. The gravity felt slightly stronger than they were used to, but their preparatory conditioning had readied them for this. The air was rich with oxygen, carrying strange new scents their filters partially blocked. The human delegation stepped forward, led by a tall figure who smiled broadly. Ta-hyun flinched slightly at the display of teeth, but kept his composure. The human spoke in carefully practiced galactic standard, a feat that impressed the diplomatic team. They had transmitted the language database only months ago. Welcome to Earth, Ambassador Hayan. I am Secretary General Chen. On behalf of humanity, we are honored to host representatives of the Galactic Council. The formal greetings proceeded smoothly, but Ta-hyun kept noticing small details that made him uneasy. The humans all displayed their teeth frequently in what they called smiles. In most species, such behavior would be a threat display, but here it seemed to indicate friendliness. It was deeply confusing. During the tour of the diplomatic facility, Ta-hyun observed more concerning patterns. The humans had decorated the walls with images of their history, and many showed hunting scenes or military victories. When asked about them, the humans spoke of them with pride, calling them cultural heritage. At the formal dinner that evening, Ta-hyun whispered to Hayan between courses, Ambassador, have you noticed how they serve their food? Everything is cut into small pieces with tools that evolved from weapons. Knives, they call them. And some of these dishes contain actual animal flesh. Hayan acknowledged his concern with a subtle color shift in her scales, but maintained her diplomatic poise. Many species have historical ties to hunting, Ta-hyun. What matters is their current behavior. But as the evening progressed, more patterns emerged. The humans' casual conversation often involved metaphors of pursuit and capture. Their language was filled with predatory references, hunting for bargains, catching up with friends, chasing dreams. During a cultural exchange presentation, the humans proudly showed videos of their sports. Ta-hyun's discomfort grew as he watched humans chasing balls, running for hours, competing in feats of endurance that would exhaust most species. These were not the activities of a typical omnivorous species. Ambassador, he shared his findings privately. Their entire culture is built around pursuit and competition. Even their recreation mimics hunting behavior. And their historical records, they hunted large prey by following it until it collapsed from exhaustion. They call it persistence hunting. Heian processed this information carefully. But look how peaceful they are now. How eager to join the galactic community. That's what concerns me most, Ta-Hyun replied. They haven't lost their predatory instincts. They've refined them. Their business practices, their sports, their entertainment. It's all sublimated hunting behavior. As if to prove his point, a human child ran past their conversation, chasing another in what they called play. The pursued child eventually tired and was caught, both of them laughing. But Ta-Hyun saw the ancient pattern. Pursuit, exhaustion, capture. The first day of diplomatic contact ended with speeches and promises of cooperation. The humans were enthusiastic about joining the galactic community, eager to learn about other species, curious about everything. Their enthusiasm seemed genuine. But late that night, as the diplomatic team prepared their initial reports, Ta-Hyun couldn't shake his unease. He added a private note to his report. While humans present themselves as peaceful omnivores, their behavior patterns suggest deep-rooted predatory instincts. These instincts haven't been lost of evolution. They've been culturally channeled into more sophisticated forms. Recommend careful observation of human behavior in stress situations. Heian read his report, but decided not to forward the warning to the council. After all, these humans seemed so friendly, so civilized. Surely they had evolved beyond their predatory past. The galaxy had dealt with predator species before. What harm could these seemingly gentle beings possibly pose? As the diplomatic team retired for the night, the humans' smiles continued to make Ta-Hyun uncomfortable. In those friendly displays of teeth, he couldn't help but see the shadow of ancient hunters, patiently tracking their prey across endless plains, never giving up until the chase was done. But surely, he told himself, he was just being paranoid, wasn't he? The next day would bring more diplomatic meetings, more cultural exchanges, and more signs that humanity was not quite what it seemed on the surface. The dance was just beginning, and only time would tell who was really leading it. Part 3. The Scholar's Warning. Dr. Kita burst into the council chamber, his scales flashing warning colors of deep red and orange. The normally calm xenobiologist clutched a data pad filled with research notes, his hands shaking with urgency. The council members looked up from their regular session, startled by this unusual interruption. "Forgive my intrusion," Kita said, trying to steady his voice. "But this cannot wait. My research team has uncovered disturbing information about our new human allies." Council member Sunmi sighed, her crystalline form reflecting the chamber's lights in patterns of annoyance. "Dr. Kita, we are in the middle of discussing trade routes. Surely your research can wait." "No, it cannot." Kita slammed his research onto the central table, causing several council members to flinch. "Look at these findings. These humans, their physical capabilities are unlike anything we've seen before." He activated his data pad, projecting images and charts into the air above the table. "We've been focusing on the wrong metrics. Yes, humans lack significant strength compared to most species. Yes, they have no natural weapons. But we've missed something crucial. The projection showed human athletes running marathons, swimmers crossing oceans, hunters tracking prey for days. Their endurance capabilities are unprecedented in galactic records. They don't tire like normal species." Sunmi waved her hand dismissively. "They're barely stronger than a young galactic child. What harm could they pose?" Kita's scales flashed deeper red. "Strength isn't everything, council member. Look at this data. Humans can regulate their body temperature through sweating, allowing them to stay active in conditions that would exhaust most species. They can repair damaged muscles during light exercise, meaning they don't need to stop completely to recover." He brought up more images, historical records of human hunting techniques. They developed a hunting method called persistence hunting. They would follow prey animals for days, keeping them from resting, until the prey collapsed from exhaustion. No other known species hunts this way. Another council member, Yu Jin, leaned forward. But that's ancient history. They've evolved beyond such practices. Have they? Kita challenged. Look at their modern behavior patterns. Their sports often focus on endurance. Running, swimming, cycling. Their military training emphasizes sustained operation. Even their approach to problem-solving shows the same pattern. They won't stop until they achieve their goal. He pulled up data from the diplomatic mission. Their diplomatic team has been working for 18 hours straight, rotating team members in shifts. They're outpacing our negotiators 3-1 in terms of meeting hours. Sun Mai stood up, her crystalline form towering over Kita. This is ridiculous. They're peaceful, cooperative, and eager to join the galactic community. Are you suggesting we reject them based on their ability to run for long periods? I'm suggesting we need to understand what we're dealing with. Kite insisted. Their physical adaptations aren't just about running. They're pursuit predators who have evolved perfect persistence. They don't give up. They don't stop. And now they have spacecraft. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Kita continued, his voice quieter now. Think about it. Every other predator species we've encountered relies on ambush or short bursts of speed. They're easy to detect and avoid. But humans, they just keep coming. They've taken this evolutionary trait and applied it to everything they do. Their business, their diplomacy, their science. He showed one final piece of data: human sleep patterns. They even dream about solving problems. Their brains keep working on challenges while they rest. They're literally engineered by evolution to never stop pursuing their goals. Young council member Minho spoke up for the first time. So what are you suggesting? That we reject their application to join the galactic community? Keita shook his head. No, that would be even more dangerous. I'm suggesting we need to be very, very careful about how we integrate them. We need to understand that their seemingly peaceful nature doesn't mean they've lost their predatory instincts. They've just refined them, civilized them. Sun Mai sat back down, her dismissive attitude somewhat shaken. Surely you're overreacting. They've shown no aggressive intentions. Of course not, Kite replied. They're patient. That's the whole point. They don't need to be aggressive when they can simply outlast any opposition. Their entire history is full of examples. They win not by being the strongest, but by being the last one standing. The council chamber remained quiet as the members processed this information. Finally, head counselor Jinwoo spoke. Thank you for bringing this to our attention, Dr. Kita. We will take your research into consideration. But for now, the diplomatic process will continue. As Kita left the chamber, he couldn't shake the feeling that the council still didn't truly understand what they were dealing with. They were so focused on traditional measures of threat, strength, weapons, aggression, that they couldn't see the real danger, a species that had turned relentless pursuit into an art form. The humans would join the galactic community, and they would smile and be peaceful. But somewhere in their genes, in their very nature, lay the capacity to pursue any goal with unstoppable determination. The galaxy had never seen anything like them before, and Kita feared it wasn't prepared for what was coming. Part 4. The Pirate's Mistake. Captain Du Yun smiled as he looked at the small human colony through his ship's view screen. A stellar blade hung in orbit, its stealth systems making it invisible to the primitive human sensors below. His crew had successfully raided dozens of worlds before. This would be no different. What do we know about their defenses? Du Yun asked his tactical officer. Minimal, Captain. One small patrol ship. Basic shield technology. They're barely more advanced than a frontier outpost, the officer reported, his tentacles waving confidently. Navigator He Jun plotted their attack approach. The stellar blade had done this so many times it was almost routine. swoop in, overwhelm the defenders, take what they wanted, and vanish before any help could arrive. Simple and efficient. Begin the attack, Du Yun ordered. The stellar blade dropped its stealth field and descended toward the colony. Warning sirens blared across the settlement below. The single patrol ship rose to meet them, exactly as expected. But then something unexpected happened. The patrol ship didn't flee. It didn't follow standard defense protocols. Instead, it charged straight at them, weapons blazing with surprising accuracy. Evasive action, Du Yun shouted as his ship shuddered from a direct hit. Since when do colony defenders fight back like this? They managed to disable the patrol ship, but not before it had caused significant damage to their shields. Still, the mission could continue. They landed near the colony's storage facilities, expecting the usual panic and surrender. Instead, they found the colonists armed and waiting. Pull back, Du Yun ordered as his boarding party encountered unexpectedly fierce resistance. Return to the ship. As they lifted off, He-Jun noticed something on his sensors. Captain, multiple ships launching from the surface. They're not defensive vessels. They've converted cargo ships into pursuit craft. Du Yun couldn't believe what he was seeing. The humans were actually chasing them. Most species would be grateful the pirates were leaving. Jump to hyperspace, he ordered. Standard escape route. But when they came out of hyperspace at their first waypoint, the humans were still following. Somehow, they had tracked them through the jump. Impossible, Du Yun muttered. How did they follow us? Hours turned into days. Every time the stellar blade jumped to a new system, the human ships appeared behind them. They tried every trick they knew. Sensor decoys, false trails, hiding in asteroid fields. Nothing worked. They just keep coming. He-Jun screamed as another human vessel appeared on their sensors. We've been running for days. How are they still pursuing us? The crew was exhausted. They had to rotate shifts for rest, but the humans seemed tireless. Every time one human ship fell behind, another took its place. Captain, the communications officer called out. They're broadcasting on all frequencies. They say they'll keep chasing us until we run out of fuel or surrender. Du Yun felt a chill. These weren't the actions of prey species defending their home. This was something else, something he'd never encountered in all his years of raiding. How do they do it? He-Jun wondered aloud, staring at his displays. Their ships are slower than ours. Their weapons are weaker, but they just don't stop. The stellar blade's fuel reserves were running low. They couldn't keep jumping forever. The crew was making mistakes from exhaustion, while the humans maintained their relentless pursuit. Captain, He-Jun's voice shook. You need to see this. I've analyzed their pursuit pattern. They're not just chasing us. They're hurting us. Each time we jump, they've got ships waiting in adjacent systems. They're driving us where they want us to go. Du Yun realized with horror what they were dealing with. These weren't simple colonists. These were pursuit predators who had taken their hunting instincts to the stars. The next jump brought them face to face with a full human battle fleet. Clever, Du Yun whispered. They never needed to catch us. They just needed to chase us until we ran into their trap. As the stellar blade surrendered, Du Yun learned something that would change piracy in the galaxy forever. Humans didn't just defend their territories. They hunted those who attacked them. Their ships carried supplies for weeks of pursuit. Their crews were trained to maintain chase for as long as necessary. They had turned space warfare into a persistence hunt. In the years that followed, other pirate crews would learn the same lesson. Attack a human colony, and you wouldn't just face defense. You would be hunted. The humans would follow you across systems, through hyperspace, past any boundary. They would chase you until you had nowhere left to run. The Stellar Blade's mistake became legendary among pirates, not because they had failed to raid a colony, but because they had awakened something ancient and terrifying. The galaxy's most patient predators, who had evolved over millions of years to pursue their prey until it collapsed from exhaustion. And now these predators had starships. As Du Yun sat in his cell awaiting trial, he couldn't help but think about Dr. Kita's warning to the council. Maybe someone should have listened to him about humans and their endless pursuit. But it was too late now. The galaxy's pirates had learned the hard way what it meant to be pursued by humanity. The message spread quickly through the criminal underworld. Avoid human territories at all costs. Because if you become their prey, they will never, ever stop hunting you. #Part 5. The hunter becomes the hunted. Fleet Commander Ji-Ho stood motionless before the massive tactical display aboard the Galactic Council's observation vessel, Starlight Watcher. His crystalline form reflected the holographic lights as he watched the extraordinary scene unfold before him. 7 star systems were mapped out in glowing detail, showing the intricate dance of pursuit taking place across light years of space. "Update on the human pursuit fleet," he asked his second-in-command. May Ray checked her data streams, her scales shifting to analysis mode colors. It's been 13 standard days since the pirates attacked their colony. The humans haven't slowed their pursuit at all. May Ray checked her data streams, her scales shifting to analysis mode colors. It's been 13 standard days since the pirates attacked their colony. The humans haven't slowed their pursuit at all. The tactical display showed the pirate vessels as red dots, scattered across different systems as they try to escape. The human ships appeared as blue markers, methodically following each target. What amazed Ji-Ho was the precision of it all. The humans weren't just chasing blindly. "Look at their formation," Ji-Ho pointed out. "They're not just pursuing. They're herding the pirates, cutting off escape routes, one by one." Mireille nodded, bringing up detailed scans of the human ships. "They don't stop to rest," she reported. "They rotate their crews in shifts, maintaining constant pursuit. It's like they're hunting prey across the stars." One of the sensor operators, young Officer Sujin, spoke up. "Sir, I've been monitoring their communications. The humans have given each pirate ship a designation. They call them prey targets. They're tracking each one individually." Ji-Ho watched as a pirate ship attempted to hide in an asteroid field. The human response was fascinating. They didn't rush in. Instead, they positioned ships at every exit point and waited patiently. When the pirate ship eventually had to leave due to low fuel, the humans were ready. "Their endurance is remarkable," Myray observed. "Most species would have given up days ago. But these humans, they seem to get more focused as time goes on." The tactical display updated, showing another pirate ship captured. The humans had forced it into a position where it had to either surrender or run out of fuel. They hadn't fired a single shot. They had simply outlasted their prey. "Send a query to their command ship," Ji-Ho ordered. "I want to understand their strategy." The response came back quickly. The human commander explained that this was a standard persistence pursuit tactic based on ancient hunting methods. They would follow their targets until they exhausted their resources and gave up. "Fascinating," Ji-Ho muttered. "They've adapted their evolutionary hunting strategies to space warfare." A new alert drew their attention. One of the pirate ships had attempted a dangerous maneuver, diving into a gas giant's atmosphere to try to shake its pursuers. Mayray's scales flashed with surprise as she watched the human response. They're not falling for it. They're positioning ships around the planet's orbit, waiting for the pirates to emerge. They know their prey can't stay there forever. Hour after hour, the observation team watched as the humans systematically cornered and captured each pirate vessel. They never rushed, never took unnecessary risks. They simply maintained their relentless pursuit until their targets ran out of options. "Sir," Sujin called out, "I've completed my analysis of their crew rotations. Each human ship has 3 full crews that rotate every 8 hours. While one crew rests and another prepares, the third crew maintains the pursuit. They can continue this pattern indefinitely." Ji-Ho felt a chill run through his crystalline structure. They've turned their biological advantages into a space warfare strategy. Their ability to pursue prey for days has become the ability to chase targets across star systems. The last pirate ship finally surrendered after 16 days of continuous flight. The humans had never fired a weapon. They had simply followed, waited, and let exhaustion do their work for them. As the observation team prepared their report for the Galactic Council, Mirai approached Jiho privately. "Sir, do you realize what this means? We've always assessed species based on their weapons, their technology, their strength. But these humans, they've shown us something new. They've proven that persistence can be more powerful than any weapon." Jiho nodded slowly. "The galaxy has never seen hunters like this before. They don't need superior weapons or faster ships. They just need to keep going longer than their prey can run." The Starlight Watcher prepared to return to Council space with their observations. As they made their final recordings, they watched the human ships methodically gathering their captured targets. The humans showed no signs of celebration or triumph. For them, this was simply the natural conclusion of a hunt. The report Jiho filed that day would change how the Galactic Council viewed humanity forever. It wasn't their weapons or technology that made them formidable. It was their endless patience, their ability to maintain pursuit long after other species would have given up. The pirates had learned this lesson the hard way. They had thought they were the hunters, only to discover they were dealing with predators far more patient and persistent than themselves. Across the galaxy, word began to spread. Avoid human space, unless you're prepared to be hunted by creatures who never, ever stop. As the Starlight Watcher jumped to hyperspace, Jiho couldn't help but wonder, what would happen when these relentless hunters set their sights on bigger prey than pirates? The galaxy was about to find out that it had invited the ultimate pursuit predators to join its community #Part 6. Truth revealed. The Galactic Council chamber was packed for this emergency session. Representatives from 1,000 worlds sat in tense silence as stenobiologist Hyunwoo prepared to present his findings. The recent events involving human pursuit of pirates had sparked intense interest in understanding these new members of the galactic community. Hyunwoo stood before the massive holographic display, his research data floating in the air around him. The chamber's lights dimmed as he began his presentation. "Esteemed council members," he started, his voice steady despite his nervousness. "What I'm about to share will change everything we thought we knew about humans. We've made a fundamental mistake in how we've assessed them." The display showed human skeletal structure, muscle patterns, and thermal regulation systems. Their entire evolution is based on persistence hunting. They pursued prey until it collapsed from exhaustion. They've merely adapted this strategy to space. Murmurs filled the chamber. Council member Sunmai, who had dismissed earlier warnings, leaned forward. "Explain further." "Look at their adaptations," Hyunwoo continued, highlighting different aspects of human physiology. "Sweat glands that allow them to regulate temperature while moving. A running stride that conserves energy. The ability to breathe independently of their running rhythm. These aren't just random evolutionary traits. They're the features of the perfect pursuit predator." Min-ji, the head of Galactic Security, stood up. Her metallic form caught the light as she moved to join Hyunwoo. "And there's more," she added. "Their tool use isn't just technological. It's an extension of their predatory nature." The display shifted to show human technology through the ages, from simple spears to spacecraft. "Every tool they've created," Min-ji explained, "has been about extending their pursuit capabilities. Their first weapons weren't for fighting. They were for slowing down prey. Their vehicles weren't for speed. They were for maintaining constant pursuit." The council chamber erupted in concerned discussions. Hyunwoo raised his hand for silence. "But here's what's truly remarkable," he continued. "They've applied this same evolutionary strategy to everything they do. Their business practices involve wearing down competition. Their diplomatic approaches focus on outlasting opposition. Even their scientific method is based on pursuing problems until they yield answers." He showed footage from human sports events. "Look at their recreational activities. Marathon running, endurance swimming. Even their children's games involve chase and pursuit. They'd literally play at hunting. Minji stepped forward again. The recent pirate incident wasn't a new strategy they developed. It was their natural hunting behavior adapted to space. They didn't need superior weapons or faster ships. They just needed to keep going until their prey exhausted itself. The display showed the tactical data from the pirate pursuit. Notice how they never rushed, never took unnecessary risks. They simply maintained constant pressure until their targets had no choice but to surrender. An elder council member raised a trembling appendage. "Are you suggesting they're a threat to the galaxy?" Hyunwoo shook his head. "No, they're not inherently aggressive, but we need to understand what they are. They're pursuit predators who have developed advanced technology. They don't need to be hostile. They just need to be patient." Minji pulled up more data. Their space exploration programs show the same pattern. They don't give up. When they fail, they analyze, adapt, and try again. They've turned their evolutionary persistence into a technological methodology. The display showed human research stations across their solar system. "Look at how they establish colonies," Hyunwoo pointed out. "They send small groups who persist in hostile environments, gradually adapting their surroundings. It's the same strategy their ancestors used to spread across their home planet." A younger council member spoke up. "But they seem so peaceful, so cooperative." "They are," Minji agreed. "But that's because they've sublimated their predatory instincts into more sophisticated forms. They don't need to be aggressive when they can simply outlast any opposition." Hyunwoo brought up his final data set. Their response to the pirate attack reveals their true nature. They didn't seek revenge. They didn't try to demonstrate overwhelming force. They simply hunted their prey with the same patience their species has always shown. The council chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. These humans, who had seemed so harmless, were revealed to be something the galaxy had never encountered before, predators who had turned relentless pursuit into an art form. "So what do you recommend?" the head counselor asked. Minji and Hyunwoo exchanged glances. "We continue to work with them," Hyunwoo said. "They're not our enemies, but we need to understand what they are. Every technological advancement they make will be built on this foundation of pursuit and persistence." "Their ships will get faster," Minji added. "Their weapons will improve, but that's not what makes them unique. What makes them dangerous is their ability to just keep going, no matter what." As the council session ended, the representatives filed out in thoughtful silence. They had invited these persistence predators into the galactic community, and now they had to adapt to this new reality. The humans would continue to advance, continue to explore, continue to pursue their goals, because that's what they had evolved to do. The truth had been revealed. Humanity's peaceful exterior hid the nature of the galaxy's most patient and persistent hunters. And now these hunters had the stars to pursue their prey across. Part 7. The New Order. The Great Council Chamber was filled to capacity, with representatives from 1,000 worlds gathered for this historic session. The massive room buzzed with nervous energy as Grand Counselor Sejin took her place at the central podium. The recent revelations about humanity's true nature had shaken the galactic community to its core. Sejin's crystalline form sparkled under the chamber lights as she began to speak. "Fellow representatives of the galactic community," she started, her voice calm but firm. "Today we must accept a new reality. Humanity represents a new type of spacefaring predator, one that combines intelligence, technology, and relentless pursuit capabilities." The chamber remained silent as she continued. "In the past 3 months since the pirate incident, we have seen more evidence of their nature. Their merchant ships now cross our trade routes, their diplomats attend our meetings, and their scientists work in our laboratories. In every field, they show the same pattern: patient, persistent, unstoppable progress." Ambassador Jahua, Earth's representative, sat quietly in the human section. His calm smile never wavered as Sejin spoke. The other representatives kept glancing at him nervously, seeing for the first time what lay behind that diplomatic exterior. Our traditional models for classifying species have proven inadequate. Seijin continued. Humans are neither the strongest nor the fastest. Their weapons are not the most advanced. Their ships are not the most powerful. But they have something we've never seen before: the ability to pursue their goals with unlimited patience. The display behind her showed footage from recent events. Human trading companies steadily expanding their influence. Human scientists working tirelessly on complex problems. Human ships methodically mapping unexplored regions of space. HFY stood up, his movement causing several nearby representatives to flinch. "If I may address the council," he asked politely. Seijin nodded. "We assure you," HFY said, his diplomatic smile never faltering. "We come in peace. We're civilized predators, after all." His calm delivery made the words even more chilling. An elder council member raised an appendage. "But how can we trust predators who never stop pursuing their goals?" HFY's response was measured. "Because our goals align with yours. Peace, prosperity, scientific advancement. We don't need to hunt you. We can hunt knowledge, hunt progress, hunt solutions to our common problems." Seijin picked up a datapad. Already, human persistence has brought changes. Their trading methods have transformed our markets. Their scientific approach has accelerated our research. Their diplomatic patience has resolved conflicts we thought unsolvable. The display showed more footage. Human medical teams working for days without rest to save victims of a space disaster. Human engineers refusing to give up on a failing station until they found a solution. Human negotiators outlasting all opposition in peace talks. "The galaxy faces a choice," Seijin declared. "We can fear humanity's predatory nature, or we can direct it toward common goals." HFY nodded in agreement. "We haven't lost our hunting instincts. We've evolved them. We don't chase prey across planes anymore. We chase solutions across stars." The chamber erupted in discussion. Some representatives argued for restrictions on human expansion. Others saw opportunities in alliance with these persistent predators. Seijin raised her hand for silence. "The reality is simple. Humanity is now part of our community. They will not stop advancing. They will not stop exploring. They will not stop pursuing their goals. Our choice is whether to work with them or against them." She turned to face HFY directly. "But remember, Ambassador, the galaxy will be watching. Your people's persistence must serve peace, not conquest." HFY's smile remained unchanged. "Of course, Grand Counselor. We understand that we seem frightening to many species, but consider this: wouldn't you rather have humanity hunting alongside you than hunting against you?" The message was clear to everyone in the chamber. The galaxy's deadliest hunters had joined the community, and nothing would ever be the same. The old order of fast predators and quick prey was gone. A new era had begun, one where patience and persistence were the most dangerous weapons of all. As the session ended, Seijin watched the representatives file out. The humans moved with their characteristic steady pace, never rushing, never hurrying. They knew they didn't need to rush. Time was always on their side. The galaxy would adapt to this new reality. It would learn to live with predators who never tired, never gave up, never stopped pursuing their goals. And perhaps, Seijin thought, that might not be such a bad thing. After all, humanity's endless persistence might be exactly what the galaxy needed to face its greatest challenges. But as she watched HFY's departing smile, she couldn't help but wonder, what happens when the galaxy's most patient predators finally decide what they really want to hunt? The new order had begun, and it would be shaped by creatures who had turned relentless pursuit into an art form. The galaxy would never be the same, but maybe, just maybe, it would be better for having hunters who never gave up until they achieved their goals.